I want to piggyback off what Nick said.
Go
When you
ahead.
put something in somebody's face, you see how they really react. Like I've never dated outside my race or anything like that, but I did have an experience when I was a child. I had this white girl live across the street from me, and one of my family members, like we would play and everything. She would wait for me to. She was homeschooled, so she would wait for me to come finish school, and she would sit outside my house. And so I remember one time she was waiting and we were playing, and one of my family members was like, oh, she was in the house, and somebody in my family was like, that white girl needs to get out of our house. And I'm like, and I'm a child, and I'm like, what? And but we one of my uncles is married to a white woman, so I'm like, where's this coming from, you know? And I like you Nick, like your dad loved everybody. Like I love everybody. I don't have a problem with anybody depending on their race or whatever. So it just really shocked me, like. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is how you really feel.
Yeah.
You know, I've been playing with this girl for forever. So show me how you really feel. So yeah, until you put it in their face, you need people show their real colors. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. And I can say I would have never dreamed that that would have been the reaction that I received from my parents when I say that, one of my best friends legitimately, he had knee surgery because he got injured in high school wrestling. And my mom had him live with us to the point that he slept in my room for like 5 months while he recovered from knee surgery. I just never dreamed that that would even be an option in my world, that I would be rejected in that way. But I think it truly permeated into, their lives in a different way that they could no longer control. It then became a problem.
I remember staying at Katie's house one time. I mean, Katie was cool with and I'm 2 years behind Katie. And I mean, it was just normal. You know what I'm saying? So to hear this, this is years ago that I stayed at her house. I'm, about 16 years? She's probably a senior and I'm a sophomore. And to hear this is when it comes out in those moments. And you like, I wouldn't mess with you because of what you're doing. I don't care how much Rhonda, nah. Because you're not pure. You're not all in. You want to say, oh, we love black people. Oh, yeah, our kids have friends. But when it really hit, where you should really be focused on if someone loves somebody, how they're being treated and everything, you're focused on the stigmatism that this is how you really feel about us while we stand at your house. We broke, we gonna struggle later on in life. All these things that oh no, ma'am, it ain't that type of party, ma'am and sir, parents, it ain't that. Nah, we got genius too. Yep. Andrew Crow says, what he always says, the New Manufacturing Renaissance. He says, genius is equally distributed, opportunity is not.
Absolutely.
So for you to have that thought process behind you. Your daughter might be with a scientist and she just ain't told you what he did or what he do, because that doesn't matter. Yeah. She loves him and he's here for her. It's like Sean, like Sierra, Nick, whoever you love is just whoever you love. So yeah, boy, I tell you, we talking about it today. Let's bring in biracial children. Do you and we have a couple of them on the episode. Two goof troops here. Nick and Sean. Yeah, the studio audience heard that, y'all. They heard that. They didn't believe me. Two goof troops, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Oh, gosh.
What was that Goof Troop song? Power Line or what was it?
Nick, Sean. Hey, I bet Sean knows.
Come together. That song was fire.
See that? Look here. Hey,
That's his favorite movie.
Hey, we got to have a good time on the Angels Online. We talk about serious topics, right? And just to remind the listeners that we focus on personal experience, and professional knowledge. Right now, we're getting a lot of personal experience, which is necessary for these kids to hear, or for young people in general and adults. Because we connect youth and adults in open dialogue. There are adults who have not addressed their issues and their problems, and their problem is what we're talking about right now that Katie's having a problem with. These adults are still having problems. So therefore, it leads, this is what they're teaching their children. So our job is to teach the youth also that, hey, it's okay. Because they're struggling right now, because what if they have a parent like Katie's parents who's saying this and that, and now they're scared to love.
You could do a whole episode on that.
You know what? It's
on
coming.
Katie's situation.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's especially in a city like St. Louis.
Come on, man.
There's probably so
Very,
many
very
situations.
Come on.
Yeah.
Whew. My next question: do you think biracial children face any stigma from society? How does their parents' relationship affect them? And it's kind of like what I just said, how parents don't realize how they affect their children. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to go, I'm going to go with Sean real quick. Sean, don't talk for 10 minutes, bro, because, you know, we going to have another episode for your dirty behind. Anyway, since you're biracial, Sean, a biracial male, did you face any stigma from society?
I mean, I
went to college in Springfield, Missouri. You absolutely did.
Good people.
Well, I mean, my upbringing, when you're a kid, you don't really view stuff like that. But so, like, I mean, I got bullied really bad when I was at Parkway South middle and 7th grade, and there did seem to be like a black-white type of contingent or whatever. But I don't know if it was really mixed, like, hey, pick a side type of thing, or if I was just maybe an easy target or whatever. But so I can't really attribute that experience to necessarily race. And I got to tell you, like, I just haven't seen it. And I don't know if that's just people kind of being reserved and not exposing that to me along the way, or if it's just I'm just so friendly with everybody. Like, my whole view is like, hey, I don't know what people's upbringings are. I don't know what they've gone through and what biases or prejudices or whatever they might have. But man, I'm gonna treat everybody well. Everyone's a friend to me. Until I guess you show me, something that's kind of aggressive back to me because of something I can't control, like my skin pigment or something. So I don't know if that like
pizza
combats.
Nick said or a piece of pizza. Well, no.
Right. Right. I'll slap a piece of slice off somebody's hand. But that's an inside story for another day. But I don't know. I think I just don't have that experience. I mean, I've gotten called the N-word before by some country bumpkins and out in Springfield one time. But
you ain't heard the other 10 times, but okay.
I don't know if it's just because I'm so open and just friendly with folks that almost like combats the maybe the bias that someone might have of like, oh, here comes one of them, I just don't know. I mean, I just try to treat everybody, well, and like we about to be best friends at the end of this thing.
You ain't got no more best friends. Stop lying. You ain't got no more best friends coming, bro. Sit down.
I mean, not best friends,
Sit
but
down.
you just treat people nice, man. I mean, I just can't. I just don't have anything to say in terms of like hardships because I was biracial growing up in this world. I haven't encountered it, and maybe I'm one of the fortunate ones.
Well,
I don't know.
Let me get this.
Well, Nick just said.
Let me get this.
Yeah, cause go ahead, Nick. Cause Nick transferred. Go ahead, Nick. Talk to us, Nick.
I left Springfield, Missouri because I was tired of going out and hearing my black friends being called the N-word. And not that I couldn't help the situation, but it was just I felt like it was a real deal issue down there. But beyond that, when I was younger, I was probably 6 or 7, maybe 8. One of the parents on my team, on my baseball team, I was walking to the concession stand, and she asked me if I was adopted.
Oh, wow.
And
what?
Even when I was that young, I understood exactly what she meant by that. You don't look like your parents. You don't look like one of them. She asked my sister the same question. And when I tell you my mom was on her ass so quick.
Come on.
It wasn't. It's not that like my parents are like preparing me for this kind of thing. My dad just was straight up with all that stuff. Made me very aware of what it is and what it was. He had to do the same thing. They were one of the first black families in Webster. in a very good neighborhood.
Right.
So he just told me all his experiences and let me go through life, and I would bounce ideas off him, and he would say, okay, well, I have this. But my mom was also, they were also on the same tip. They were together in everything. It wasn't, they, as far as anything racial, they had a plan.
Come on.
They prepared me and my sister for what it was. And as soon, and it wasn't like they were like pointing their finger telling me, it was just life stuff, just every day.
Right.
Or just like in conversation, just like generalizing. They just prepared us for this stuff. And that time at that concession stand, as soon as she asked me if I was adopted, I knew exactly what she was trying to get at. I knew exactly what she meant.
Because you were already taught this. You were already trained for it. You were prepared for it.
Yeah. And so, like, there's shitty things like that happen. Sorry for cursing.
Yeah, come on, talk to us.
But there's also, like, great things that happen.
Come on.
Like, you can be learning experiences for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you're here right now.
Yeah, you can be learning experiences. You can put people on.
Sierra and Kevin might they get Elijah ready. That little baby, that little princess that was sitting in the camera, she's gonna know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just like he told his family, let his family know. Like, nah, she's part of this family, so you need to watch what you say, because think about her, because she's part of that group that you're trying to generalize. And
like the other aspect of having like friends of every ethnicity and every color and every creed, you'll learn, like, your friends that really aren't about things or that are ignorant will show their colors. There's been plenty of times where I've had conversations with people and they've said some off things, like some racist things, but like, you do know that, like, you're very aware that I'm half black, and that is very offensive. And just because I am a little less melanated than you're comfortable with, don't say that shit to me, because I'm automatically gonna we're done.
Right.
You said some ignorant stuff. Like, I can try to talk to you about it, but like, what good is it going to do? Because that's how you think.
That's how you feel.
That's another one of those things of like putting it in front of your face and seeing how you really feel about it.
Yep.
Because people can say things and be like, oh, this is my favorite. I got a black friend. This is my black friend.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Don't ever say that.
What does that mean?
I can't stand it. I'm your friend, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. What you mean?
And also the same thing goes like, this is my white boy. This is my white friend. Like, don't know. Like, it's shit's offensive.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Wait, what you reminding people for?
Yeah.
We see him.
Yeah. You don't.
We see her.
There are no passes. Those don't exist.
Hey.
The N-word card pass, like, that's not a thing. Don't jump stupid and say it.
Like, yeah. I love that. Sierra.
I sound way more negative than Sean. Sean, you're insane. I'm not.
Sierra, I mean, you know what? You're the type, because she's so little, she's so young, you know, because the question was, how do you think biracial children face any stigma from society, and how does their parents' relationship affect them? How do you think you and Kevin's relationship, I mean, I believe, but we're not talking about what I believe because I'm on a personal level with you, but your relationship, how it affects how her life is, and, you know, go ahead. I'm not going to speak for you because, I mean, shoot, her parties she diverse. Go ahead.
We've tried to be very cognizant of the language we use. We're very deliberate with the language that we use. We're very expressive in the fact that she understands, like, you know, what color mommy is and what color daddy is, and she understands that, you know, her family is a blended family of you know, by definition of all different types, whether it be by color or whether it be by the way the family was built. So even at 5, she's always been very aware of that. So it's not necessarily like coming from a place of like, you know, my parents don't match. It's more so, you know, this day and age, you know, when she goes to school, she's going to have friends where, you know, she's going to have a friend where they have 2 mommies or 2 daddies. So I think that she's growing up in a day and age where, like, her parents not matching isn't going to be that, I'm not going to say that big of a deal, but it's going to be a lot easier for her to, like, walk through life that aspect.
I feel it is, because times have changed. I believe it is.
Yeah, times are a little bit different. So it's not really a thing to teach or for her to understand. It's just something she's living through, which is a lot different than when we grew up. Right. So, it's not really a teaching thing. It's just something that she lives with through life. So like whenever she comes to us and she's like, hey, my friend so and so has 2 mommies, it's not a thing that we need to explain, because it's something that she's gonna have, gonna experience the rest of life, and that's not something that we necessarily experience in our face growing up. So we're just very deliberate, like I said, in the language that we use. We don't try to really sugarcoat anything, but we do try to do everything from a span of teaching her.
Right.
And we've done a lot of adjustments as well in our lives with the other people that we allow to be in her life and our friendships. A lot of that has changed and has looked different over the years. We had an experience with a friend during the George Floyd murder, where we found out very much firsthand, like Nick was saying, where we realized that we were that Black friend.
Yep.
And even me having to have that conversation, I literally had to say to her, like, my daughter calls you aunt. Like,
Yep.
you were in the delivery room holding one of my legs up when I pushed her out.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear I don't see color. You have to look at me and see that I'm Black. You have to look at my daughter and know that, like, this is affecting just for, tolerance is really dangerous in that way. It's like, you tolerate me, but you don't tolerate, the rest of the world. So it got really dangerous, and we have to operate from a place of safety. And that's what became a really big thing for us. We had to sit down and have a conversation, me and Kevin, and it was, okay, she's expressed that this is how she feels. It's in her face now. And this is how she feels. So what are we going to do about it from a safety standpoint? Because we don't ever want to be in a situation where we're all out together and we have to worry. If something pops off, we got to worry about who's actually going to help protect us.
That's right. There you go.
And that's kind of where it got to be. And that's not to say, like, I need for my white friends to save me, but at the same time, I need to know who's down.
Come on, you know what to say.
You need validation.
Like, I need to know who's down.
Look,
know who's down. Yeah, if we get caught in a situation, we're in a restaurant or whatever, and somebody says the wrong thing, I shouldn't have to stand up and say anything.
Right. Come on, you know what to say.
Whoever I'm with should be able to help take care of that for me. So we just had to operate from a place of safety, and so we're just very cognizant of that in bringing her up. And then, we deal with it. We have an opposite side too. So like, yes, we haven't really had that many struggles relationship wise, but, my mother did marry a white guy, and that's, that's the only father I've ever known. So operating from that space, my father's dead now, but, my aunts are still involved in my life. And, that side of my family, they loved me, but, my grandmother was not very accepting of that relationship that my father with my mom. So, when coming from that aspect, that side of the family, they don't really know her.
Right.
So, she's got, Kevin's family who is white, that, she is everything to them.
Right.
But then we also have, like, my father's side of the family that, they aren't super connected to her. So they have a disassociation and a detachment because she is, half Black. So we have spectrums.
All right, y'all. I got one last question because we got about a couple minutes because I got a show after mine. But one last question. Anybody could say something. Nick had to run out. He's got a meeting to attend. What is something that society can learn concerning biracial individuals or interracial couples? What is just one thing that they can learn? Just real quick. Anybody want to say anything? Katie, Sean, what is something that they can learn, that society can learn concerning biracial or interracial couples?
I can definitely say one thing is that as a white woman or a white man, when you choose to step out and date outside of your race, you do have a responsibility, kind of tying back to what I think her name is Sierra just said, is you have to use your privilege. You cannot be that person that accepts any type of comments to be made. When I have had comments made that are out of space by, say, an aunt like we had previously. I had to call her and address her. You have to be willing to have those difficult conversations and be bold.
Yep.
And so that is just an absolute important thing within making those choices to date outside your race, that you're willing to be an ally and you're willing to support anything that comes your way.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sean, anything real quick?
Yeah, I'll just say that I mean, to really drive a change in the mindsets of everybody, like you got, yeah, like that has been said, you gotta be able to have those conversations like with love. You know, no one's attacking anybody, but we gotta, because we're all just like everybody else, man. Everybody has some innate thing within them that desires companionship and loving relationships. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just how we're built. So everyone kind of desires that, and it should be relatively the same kind of across the spectrum of all, whether you choose to different races, different, you know, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever your choices are. We're all trying to find that safe place to just, you know, kind of be happy and love one another. So but having those conversations to help change what the future is going to look like, so that, because ideally, you know, we'd all be accepting of each other, and there would be no I guess controversy or disagreements of things like this. I mean, this is like, you know, obviously it takes years and decades to get to a new place, but I mean, I hope eventually we can get there. We just all got to be open to everyone. I mean, you know, just love each other. That's all I would say.
There you go. Sierra, do you have something real quick?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that, you know, we actually have more things in common than we do different.
Come on.
But it literally just takes us all, like, you know, taking off those glasses of perception, because we've all grown up with it. Doesn't matter what our race is. Even if, you know, your parents are 100%, you know, all in, they have no bias, you still kind of go into the world with whatever it is you learn. Like, if you have an experience, like she said, you know, growing up, you know, it might not change how you feel towards white people, but you always remember that. You always remember that somebody else might feel that way. So I think the biggest thing is just, you know, kind of operating from a place of, like, you know, trying to take those blinders off, because you never know what you're going to miss out on. And that could be referring to, you know, relationships, friendships. You know, some of the best friendships in my life are, you know, from different races.
Come on, girl. Woo!
But if you have that, if you're in that bubble and, you know, you're not willing to kind of take those blinders off and kind of see somebody for what their heart is and not their color, then, you know, you're missing out on a whole lot of life. So
my goodness, I just say lead with love, lead with gratitude. You got to get the people what they want. Now, before we end this, ladies and gentlemen, everybody got to give me a good people. We're gonna start with Sierra. Can I get a good people?
Good people.
Katie, can I get a good people?
Good people.
Kaylee, can I get a good people?
Good people.
Sean, you know what to say.
I'm going to tell you right now, I just want y'all to picture me bouncing up and down in my chair, because you know how Rhonda like to do. Good people, you got to give the people what they want.
Well, you know what I'm going to leave you with, baby. Good people. You got to get the people what they want. Ladies and gentlemen, this is season 3, episode 8. Loving outside the box. One time for the one time.